As many as 5 sex trade workers in Victoria have been assaulted in a string of violent attacks. The police chief says the crimes are another example of why he needs more officers in his detective division and why he pulled an officer out of the regional domestic violence unit. Chief Jamie Graham also says there are more changes coming at VicPD and that he has some tough choices to make that may not be popular. CTV's Stephen Andrew reports.
When Victoria Police were called to investigate what was thought to be a severed foot found on a beach at Dallas Road, the department was angry to find out it was the victim of a sick joke.
I don't care what it takes. We need to find these people and we need to bring them to justice.
2 weeks later, VicPD's priorities are changing.
I trust that the detectives are assigning the right amount of officers to bring that case to a successful conclusion. The actual numbers I'm not sure of, but I don't think it certainly hits the top of our priority list.
The department is facing increasing pressure on its detective division. Chief Jamie Graham says understaffing is forcing him to cut an officer from the region's domestic violence unit to fill holes in that division.
Someone has to look at these files, and it requires a lot of detail, a lot of focus. The luxury of having, in my view, 2 instead of 1 just means that we're going to have to look at that filter that we use to keep those cases in the specialized unit a little more carefully.
As he made the cut, Chief Graham initially said he had more important issues to investigate, such as a sexual predator. Today, a step back.
Well, you can't frame it that way, as if, to our knowledge, there's not one lone sex offender targeting multiple victims, no.
The chief confirms investigators are looking at as many as 5 attacks on sex trade workers, the latest on Sunday morning.
Yeah, this is not an anomaly in terms of the numbers. At this stage, we don't think it's necessary to put a public warning out to sex trade workers. If we did, we would do that, consult with you right away. But at this stage, no, we don't. I don't think a public order warning is necessary.
Victoria's police chief says he needs more resources, but acknowledges with the current economic climate that is unlikely. Esquimalt is negotiating for VicPD to continue policing its town. The mayor has serious concerns about Chief Graham's statements that the department suffers from a lack of resources.
What I see in the overview of the changes, we're taking away those community type of officers, albeit moving them to detective. That may help, but I don't see the full value and understanding of that yet. I need to have more information.
VicPD says many of the policing pressures the department faces come from outside city limits, such as Saanich, the West Shore, and other capital region communities. With costs increasing and resources staying the same, Victoria's chief sees painful cuts continuing. He says it's not just a push for regionalization, it's just the reality of policing in tough economic times.
Well, the road to the lake is never straight. You know, it can be a tortuous route sometimes.
A report supporting changes to the department's structure is due to be released soon, but it could be months before we know what the new Victoria and Esquimalt department will look like.
CTV's Stephen Andrew reporting for us tonight.